I've decided to try and explain psychedelic visuals because everyone who you see online tends to not do a very good job of it. Anyone who you talk to about it tends to not do a very good job of it. They just see like, oh, there's colours and shit. That's not very accurate. What's more accurate is that this is based on probably a maximum of 150 microgram of LSD, which is what I've had a few times, and I've also had 2CB, and it's quite similar. When you look at stuff, it has infinite depth, in the sense that you can look at things with a much higher resolution. For example, this, you can see, for example, here you can see the little dots here, but on psychedelics you can see dots in between them dots, and then dots in between them, littler dots that may not even exist. But them dots aren't laid out in the same way that they would be, that they actually are. You see them in patterns that are very akin to Romanesco broccoli. Now, for example, on here, see, I don't know, that this part here, you see this, it's a little black dot there. Obviously, it doesn't actually work like this. I think a better example would be like this, like that part is a slightly different shade to that part. So you look at that part there, and then you'll look at that part there, and then other random parts begin to look like that part, exactly like that, an exact copy, even though obviously in reality it's not. And they're arranged, it's not actually random. The other parts arrange, the copies are there because there's a pattern. They're in a certain spot because they need to be in that spot for the pattern to exist. And the pattern is almost always very akin to Romanesco broccoli. If you ever Google that and look at that, it's like that, but imagine obviously that's on a sphere. If you imagine it's not on a sphere, it's like a flat plane with like the Romanesco fucking spiral shit. And that's just flat, it's not round. That's basically what everything looks like, but you can look at that with infinite depth. Now that's just the infinite detail part of it. While you look at it as well, the colours do change, and you tend to find that when parts of the Romanesco, like broccoli, if you've got two little spirals that are next to each other, the part where them two spirals seem to intersect, imagine they're both on like almost like an angle, like one's like this, one's like this. The part where they intersect, see how like when this intersects there's a very black dark line. That black dark line is actually a colour. It's usually one colour, and all the intersections, every intersection that you can look at has this colour, and it's the same, in every intersection. But the colour changes throughout, and it seems to just do its own thing. It's usually very purple, and I've asked my friend, who's my friend, and he says it's also purple, but it also changes. It changes sort of greeny, very greeny, it can be yellow, orangey almost, and it kind of changes between them. But at the same time, you look at it and you kind of know that it's all them at the same time. But that's sort of one of the things that's impossible to describe. When I say it looks like Romanesco broccoli, it only looks like Romanesco broccoli. It's not exactly the same, but it's pretty similar. That's the thing that I can find that's closest to the patterns that I made. On top of that, everything breathes, obviously. You'll get tracers when something moves. You'll get you get tracers. You also find that like time sort of just speeds up, and like then will slow down, and like I remember looking at people moving, and they would sort of move, and then they would almost go back. They wouldn't go back, but they'd sort of freeze for a bit, and then they move, which sounds like it would be jittery as it would if that was happening to a video. But it's not at all. It feels more fluey than real life. It feels. Maybe there's a pattern of the way it flows. Probably is, but it feels very natural. It feels very fluey. Once again, like the colours, it feels like it just does its own thing. It's got its own. It's got a mind of its own. That's. I'm trying to think of other stuff. People's faces tend to look quite. They get very smooth. I tend to find they get very smooth. And they get very, they become more attractive and become very cartoonish. But it's not. It's sort of, they look silly cartoonish, but also very beautifully cartoonish at the same time. So people's faces, and I remember once I was looking at someone, and his eyes just sort of because I was looking at him from quite a distance. His eyes just sort of doing this, just doing their own thing, and that was quite funny. That made us laugh. I was laughing at him across the room, what you doing with your eyes? Obviously, he didn't know what I was on about. Another thing as well, things seem to have borders of stuff. Tend to have this. It's very purple, but it's also it's a lot more colours. It seems red, orange, but it does seem to tends to be a few colours that you mainly see, and obviously it fades between them. But yeah, stuff has a border and it'll circle it like that almost. And you can see if you go on r/replications, you can see that people trying to do that. They don't tend to do the borders, but they tend to do a good job of the big picture sort of, and the colours, how the colours change, how the colours morph, and how stuff flows. It's very good at that, but it's not very good at getting the infinite depth and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff I think will be almost impossible to replicate. I bet you one of them will. There's Inner Reflection or Stingrays. He will probably, because he's good. He's done the most accurate. But yeah, that's me attempting to describe visuals on psychedelics. Once again, it's impossible to describe fully, but that's most people don't do a very good job of it, and you can get a fairly accurate. I think I can do a fairly accurate description. And when you're in that state, you're not confused. It all makes perfect sense. Watch that back. When people say breathing, I used to have the misconception that everything sort of plays like a chest. Things sort of go in but more intense. But no, it's not like that. It's if you do the spiral illusion online. When you stare at a spiral and then you look away, you might not see it before you look at a spiral, you stare away and everything moves and shit for about 20 seconds and then just normal. Do that, you just stare in the centre of the spiral, look about your room, and that's almost exactly what the breathing effect looks like. To add to that, my memories of it it still sort of makes perfect sense. It's hard to picture it in your mind's eye, but you can a bit. But it's hard to picture anything in your mind's eye. It's never very accurate, but it feels no less accurate than remembering what a car looks like, or what my cat looks like who died. It's the picture you can make in your mind's eye is not accurate. But my memories of psychedelic visuals are no less accurate than my memories of anything else. Still inaccurate, but no less accurate. I think that's true. It's hard to tell, but yeah, there you go.